This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Mike Murphy.
Thank you for that introduction, Charlie. Yes, I am Mike Murphy, host of the Good Neighbor Podcast. We are a podcast that introduces local business owners and influencers to residents of Northern Kentucky. We want residents to know our local business owners as humans, as opposed to just a logo on a business card or the side of a truck. And so the human I have with me today, he lives here in Triple Crown in Union, not too far from me. Good friend of mine, as of about a month ago, Chris Eckstein, owner of Freedom Window Cleaning here in Union. So without further ado, Chris, let the people know what they need to know about you.
Of course. Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And it's good to be here. So, yep, as he said, I am the human of the day, Chris Eckstein, owner and operator of Freedom Window Cleaning, based right here out of Union. And primarily what I do is I clean windows, right? If you've got dirty windows, I'm your guy. That is my specialty. It's what I love to do. I also do pressure washing, and we'll be adding more services as time goes on. So,
okay, well, that's good to know. I know it had to be kind of rough, just starting a window cleaning company, and then boom, right away, winter, and nobody's cleaning their windows in winter, and they're not calling you to clean them either. So the good news, though, is it's a beautiful sunny day. Spring seems to have sprung.
Yes,
and that means you're going to be a very, very busy person.
Yes.
The next few months, I would imagine.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so far so good. I mean, I started this back in July and left my full-time career in the middle of January. And then, yeah, we had, 3 or 4 weeks of snow on the ground. I was still out there getting after it, though. Okay. Believe it or not. I will work until I cannot feel my fingertips anymore. So don't let the weather bother you,
Well, you're no stranger to hard work. I mean, you have a military background, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how long were you in the military? When was that?
I was 8 years, so that was 2005 to 2013.
Okay, and what did you do in the military?
I was a combat medic.
All right.
Yep.
Interesting. Where were you based?
So my first duty station was Fort Lewis, Washington. So I spent a few years there, did 2 deployments to Iraq out of there with the same company, same platoon, actually. So same guys on both deployments, which was pretty special and unique, I'd say. Really bonded with those guys over 2 deployments overseas. And then from there, my wife was with me the whole time, by the way, except for in Iraq. Obviously, she did not. They're not allowed to go over there, right?
Yeah, all right.
But then next duty station, we went to Camp Darby, Italy. So my wife and I spent 3 years over there exploring all of Europe. Oh, it was incredible. Yeah. Yep.
That's very cool. Wow. We could do an entire podcast just on your military experience alone.
Probably.
Okay. Well, maybe we will someday, but I think that military background kind of, I'd say everything we do serves us well for the next chapter, whatever that might be.
100%.
So you pull everything forward, and it just makes you a better husband, a better business owner, a better father, a better whatever, a better neighbor.
Right.
So, and thank you for your service too.
Thank you.
I don't have a military background, so I'm always appreciative of those that took the time to protect all of us.
For sure.
So,
yeah.
Well, that's a chapter that has brought you to today, and window cleaning is a whole different experience from that military life.
It is, but there's bits and pieces of it, that correlate. So, I mean, a big part of why I was a medic is I like helping people, and that in that realm, I had the opportunity to help people who were injured or had trauma. They had a physical need, right? They needed help in some way, shape, or form. So I got the opportunity to help people that way. And then when you flip that over to window cleaning, I mean, this is a service that I provide for people who either want or need it. And so I could kind of tie those together that way. I'm still helping people at the end of the day, and that makes me feel good,
Yeah. Well, we've talked before about your approach to the business, and I know that you've had an experience in your past that got you to start thinking about this business. So tell us briefly, what was that?
For sure. I mean, first of all, I've always wanted to do my quote unquote own thing, right? I've always wanted to have my own business and never really knew what it was going to be. Tried so many things, including selling solar panels, and I've just tried a lot of things over the years. But I was in multi-unit for 8 years with a furniture company, and during that time, there were several times where I hired window cleaners, but specifically at the beginning of 2024, I hired a window cleaning service and was really intrigued by what they were doing. And I was just watching them. I was excited to see the before and after. And quite frankly, I was just disappointed with the results. There was streaks on the windows, tape left up there. So I ended up just going to Home Depot, getting a mop, a bucket, and a squeegee, and doing it myself.
Right.
And I mean, I somehow ended up being really good at it and spent a lot of time practicing. And the neighboring businesses to that store started calling me, asking if I would do theirs. And that's kind of when the light bulb went off. And,
doing every job as though it were your own home.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Treating every client like they're your mother or father, brother or sister, whatever.
Absolutely.
It's a good way to approach it. So one thing that we talked about before we started recording this was you're not just out there washing the outsides of the windows. You are also getting the window tracks. You're cleaning the interiors as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yep. Do interior, exterior tracks, screens, and whichever combination of those that you want. But what I call the full service package is the interior, exterior tracks and screens. That's what you want, a deep clean and a hard reset, get your windows looking good.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
And if somebody's going to pay to have their windows cleaned, they want them clean.
I know.
And you want to almost not be able to tell that there's glass, that you just want to see outside when you look outside. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially with this good weather coming and all that. I mean, we have beautiful sunrises and sunsets in Kentucky, and why not enjoy it? Yeah, absolutely.
So when you roll up to a house and you're going to clean the X number of windows, I don't know what the average number of windows per home is around here, but I think some people assume you're just going to be up and down on a ladder, but that's not the case, is it?
Right. No, not the case. And in most cases, I actually do not need to use a ladder. I mean, obviously, if you've got a gigantic house and, I mean, that's going to happen. But no, I use a 3-stage filtration system with a water-fed pole for exteriors most of the time, right? Occasionally, I won't use that if it doesn't make sense. But that system is pretty incredible. Leaves the windows spotless. And benefit to the customer with using a water-fed pole is not only are you getting your windows clean, but I clean the frames. That's where you get, especially on the sides of the house that are sitting in the sun all day, you get a lot of oxidation on the frames. And if I clean your windows and then it rains, you're going to have dirty windows pretty soon. But with that water-fed pole setup, it just does an incredible job. Scrub those frames, get all that oxidation off, so that way you can enjoy the clean windows for a lot longer.
So the typical job, if there is such a thing, would take how long?
Oh, there is no such thing as a typical job. You're correct in that. But I mean, I've had jobs go from anywhere to to an hour and a half to, I mean, I've had some that took 10 hours at one house. It just really depends on the level of service that you want, right? And how many windows you have. That's really what it boils down to.
So how do you quote your jobs? Is it per window? How do you approach that?
Yeah. So I try not to overcomplicate it too much because I don't want to confuse people. But yeah, most window cleaners will count the number of panes and then do our math from there. Is typically how I do it. And then, there's lots of factors that could go into it. But what I will say is that, my pricing is extremely fair as far as industry standards. Given all my research and experience with it that I have done, I would say I'm on the low end of the industry standard as far as pricing. And that's simply just because it's fair, right? I'm making money. You're getting a great service. And I feel like it's just the right thing to do. I don't feel like there's any reason to overcharge people or take advantage of people. That's not what I'm in it for. I want to make a good living, and I want to take care of the people in my community.
Well, you're doing good work, high
you.
quality work, and you're a good guy. And that equals usually good word of mouth.
Yep. So far, so good.
Like yours. So I got to imagine with every job, you're kind of producing almost a billboard brochure, whatever, for people to showcase your talents and refer you to their neighbor next door or to their friends. So I'm looking forward to hiring you to clean my windows, because
You got it.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We've been in this house for 4 years and our windows get cleaned by the rain.
Right. Yeah.
But if I look outside, I see cobwebs in the corner. I see
Right.
leaves in the tracks.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that before and after effect.
Oh yeah. I did one yesterday. They've been in that home for 22 years and never had the windows professionally cleaned. And shout out to you. You know who you are. I'm not mentioning any names, but they said that they typically will just rinse the windows off with a hose. Don't do that. That's how you get hard water stains on your glass. So that doesn't really get the result you're looking for. If you hire me to come out, I'll give you some trade secrets while I'm there.
Okay, good to know.
Got to leave a little bit up to the imagination.
Well, my wife won't allow me to get up on a ladder, so I'm one of those guys that, I'm just putting the hose on high pressure and just, spraying my windows down, and that's what I call a
stop doing
window. But yeah, so I mean, as you're saying that, I'm like, oh geez, that's what I do. So okay,
that's all right.
That's good to know.
That's all right.
So let's take a little departure from business and talk about family. So I believe your wife's name is Katie, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So how did you and Katie meet?
So we actually met after I got done with basic training. I was heading to do my advanced individual training, which is where I learned to become a medic. I met her at a party at my house. She came with some friends, and we talked a little bit. And then a few months later, after graduating I was getting ready to head to my first duty station, and she was at a party at my best friend's house, and I saw her from across the room. Hadn't even approached her yet. I was nervous, and I was like, I told my buddy Sean, I was like, you see that girl? I'm gonna marry that girl. He's like, whatever, and it's kind of funny because I went over there, I approached her, I was showing her all these pictures. She's gonna laugh when she sees this, but I was showing her these pictures of these vehicles I was gonna be in. I was brand new in the Army. I hadn't done anything yet, but that was how I was just, reeling her in a little bit, and the rest is history. I mean, we've been married for almost 19 years. In November, it'll be 19 years.
So how long was it from the time you told Sean and that girl till you actually told Katie that you said that?
Yeah. So not long. I mean, we dated for less than a year before we decided that we were going to get married. And most of that was long distance. At that time, she was still back home in Texas, and I was stationed at Fort Lewis, Washington, living in the barracks, and we were talking through Skype on our laptops, Okay. And yes, I saved up every penny I possibly could, bought her a ring. I flew her out to Washington, showed her Seattle, and just showed her around. Awesome time. 3-course dinner and the Space Needle, nice hotel, all that stuff, and yeah. And then we got married, and she's been by my side ever since. She's my rock. I could not function without her.
Wow. Well, I've not had the pleasure of meeting her yet, but now I have to.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this girl that
she's awesome.
You knew
she's the best
from the get-go that you were going to
love you, babe.
Looking forward to meeting you, Katie. So, do you have kids?
I do. I've got 2 kids.
Okay.
My son Wyatt and daughter Reagan.
Okay.
And my son's 10. My daughter is almost 9.
All right. Well, that's cool. Where do they go to school at?
They both go to New Haven.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So right down the road.
Imagine you've got to be proud of your kids. I mean, you're a quality dude, and quality dudes usually produce quality kids. So what are they into?
I think a lot of those genes come from my wife, but yes, they at least got her brains. So she's super smart. But yeah, Wyatt, he's a great student. He's on the gifted and talented program.
Okay.
He's on the academic team, and that's been a lot of fun for him. He's a super competitive person, hates to lose, but I guess don't we all in one way, shape, or form. But he's also, they're both in jiu-jitsu, and then my daughter is also on the competition dance team through Bella Dance, and they have a fantastic program there, and she's been dancing with them since she was 2 years old. So there's definitely some competition in the family as far as those things go. So it's a lot of fun to see. Super proud of those kids.
Well, that's good.
And they're really well behaved too. You sometimes, no offense to anybody listening, but sometimes, people's kids are just crazy and rambunctious and out of control. Don't listen. Like my kids, they say yeah too much. I'd like them to say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. But choose your battles. They're super good kids, really respectful. And they like to help, they like to, my son's gone with me on a couple window cleaning jobs. A couple weeks ago, we cleaned his grandparents' house, just wanted to help them out and get their windows looking good for him. And yeah, he was a big help on that job. He's really interested. I think he's going to be super, super successful. And so is my daughter,
Okay. Well, you sound like a great father. So your kids are lucky to have you.
That's right. There's always things that I can work on as well, of course. I find so many times I find myself giving them advice, especially when it's in front of my wife. I'm like giving them advice on something, and I walk away and talking to Kate like, I should really take my own advice on that, because that was solid advice. I need to take it.
Yeah,
I do that a lot. So yeah, I'm a work in progress too.
We all are. Yeah, I'm 62 and I'm still learning stuff.
Right.
And making a lot of the same mistakes over and over. So I don't know if that ever really goes away, but
it's all right. If you stop learning stuff, then what's the point,
This is no longer a business podcast. This is a
life coaches here.
Life coach podcast, I guess. All right. So back to the business part of things. If there was one thing that you want anybody listening to this to know about you and your business, what would that be?
Man. Well, that would just be that I care, that's the big thing for me, obviously I'm providing a service, but I genuinely am passionate about it. Right. I feel like I've searched my whole life for that one thing. You always hear people say, once you find that one thing you really enjoy doing, find a way to turn it into a career and you'll be great. Right. I truly feel like I found that thing, and it feels so good.
Okay.
I felt trapped in corporate America for so long, and I felt like I couldn't escape, which is a big part of why it's called freedom window cleaning. Right. I'm a super patriotic person as well, but I feel like this is my freedom. This is what I think this is what I was meant to do.
So you're having fun doing it.
I'm having a blast. I love it. Every moment of it. Yeah. It's fun meeting new people, having awesome interactions, seeing their reaction when they go from having, dirty windows to clean windows. I know it sounds like such a simple thing, right? And I guess it is, but, versus like a corporate job or career where you've got, goals and, all these different quotas you have to meet and doing all these things, right? Like to get your results, you have to, push really hard to drive those results. I get to make the results immediately in front of your eyes. You know what I mean?
So to that point, if you're going to do a good job, that ties to the proper equipment. Is there anything that was a surprise to you in terms of investments that you had to make into the business to be able to do the type of job you want to do for your clients?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's there's a lot to it for sure. I mean, I've got thousands of dollars of equipment at this point. I was actually fortunate enough that water-fed pole we talked about earlier, I won on a contest from one of the window cleaning websites. They had a 3-day contest and I won this $4,000 piece of equipment. And
wow,
if that's not a sign from God, I don't know what is. That was like the final push. It's like, just go do this thing, and, but yeah, I guess the short answer to that question is there's no substitute for a fresh squeegee. If you got an old one, just ditch that thing, put a brand new one on. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. And we talked about ladders earlier, and I'm talking to all the, especially the dads out there. Do not go climbing on ladders to wash your own windows if you can help it.
Stay off the ladders.
Stay off your roofs if you can help it. Hire to have that done by a professional. So
absolutely, I'll take care of you. Let's keep you grounded.
Yeah, call Chris. All right. So, if somebody wants to hire you, how do they reach you?
All right. So a few different ways. My cell phone is the same number I've had since I was 14. So it's still a Texas area code. Don't be freaked out by the out-of-state area code. I grew up in Texas. That's where I'm keeping that number forever. So that's 832-681-6489. You can also visit my Facebook page. It's Freedom Window Cleaning LLC, or just go to freedomwindowcleaning.net. So freedomwindowcleaning.net is my website, built by somebody in this community, by the way, as well. It's a fantastic website. I feel like they did an awesome job. Shout out to N2. And yeah, you can reach me through any of those.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've covered a lot today. It always goes quick.
For sure.
And we touched on a subject, the military background, that really has me intrigued. There's a lot of story there.
Oh yeah.
And we'll meet up again and we'll talk about that. But Chris, you're a great guy. You're somebody who I'm glad we got to meet. I'm glad we got to sit down today, and I'm glad I get to introduce you to the community at large. So I expect to see you all around the neighborhood. I'll do all that I can to support you. I just won't go out there and clean windows with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
I've got my own stuff to worry about, but that's exactly why I'm going to hire you. So
there you go.
All right, brother. Well, that does it for this episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Everybody out there, be good to your neighbor. And until next time, see everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Union. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpunion.com. That's gnpunion.com, or call us at 859-651-8330.